the focus of the world onto glaring cases in
Hello and welcome. Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon. This afternoon I have in the studio with me the Honorable Commissioner for... Thank you. I have in the studio with me the Honorable Commissioner for Arts, Culture, Tourism and Diaspora Affairs for Edo State, none other than Honorable Osaze Osemwegie, Honorable Osaze Osemwegie Ero.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
My apologies for butchering your name there.
That's okay.
It's good to have you here. We've been waiting to speak with you. First of all, let me say congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Your portfolio is huge.
That's correct.
We're talking arts, we're talking culture, we're talking tourism, and then diaspora affairs.
That's
and
correct.
we know that Edo State is a state that is deep when it comes to arts and culture.
That's correct.
So how are you even beginning to tackle this?
Well, I mean, good afternoon, viewers. It's very interesting. It's, like you say, it's enormous, but I think we're doing it.
Okay.
We're key into the governor's vision. We have a governor who is focused. We have a governor who knows what he's doing. And Edo State is, blessed to have him at the ends of affairs. Okay. So he's giving us direction, on what we need to do. There's a roadmap, and we're working on that, following up on what is designed for us.
You say there's a roadmap. I would like us to be a bit more specific when we say roadmap. If you can break down for me, because, arts is one thing, culture is another, tourism, which Nigeria doesn't do much of, which we should do, because, like I said, Edo is rich in culture and so many other attractions that could be tourist attractions if we utilize it well. So break down for me
the roadmap.
That roadmap, please.
Yeah, like I said, arts, culture, tourism, and the diaspora affairs is a different one entirely. And the roadmap that we've designed with the governor is to identify and bring out those rich cultural heritage that Edo State have and atomize them and look at ways to bring it out to the known of the public, which is what we're doing. We have the short quick win, achievement. We have the mid quick win achievement, and we have the long-term goals.
That's
that is
really
objectives that's been
I like that. The quick win, the medium term, and the long term. So what are some of the things in that quick win, for instance?
Well, the quick win is to visit and identify those tourist sites, which we've been doing for the past 3 months. Get involved in festivals that is ongoing, just like what we did recently in the Igara, the Aba festival that was huge, and other festivals in the local communities. Then the ministry has, identified some of those tourist sites, and the quick long-term one is to bring them up to world-class standard, which is the vision of the state governor. Bring them up to world-class standard, build an interactive website to showcase them once they have already been developed, print brochures of those tourist sites with a brief history, pictures and brief histories of those sites. That will be circulated all over the world. So we're looking at that and working on it. So if you go to Benin Airport, for example, now there's tourist information desk there at the arrival and departure hall, with 50-inch screen showing those tourist sites, to our guests, our tourists coming into Edo and living Edo State as well. We've had stakeholders meetings with the people that are really rich in that art, like Chief Esogban, for example, of Benin Kingdom, Chief High Priest Osemwegie Ebohon, Sir Victor Waifo. We've met with them, discussed with them, and see how we can, reawaken the culture of Edo State. And like you rightly identify as well, Edo State is richly blessed with a lot of cultural heritage. There's a lot of sites, tourist sites that have been neglected for the past, decades. But we're working seriously on that now to see how we can bring them aboard and use them to the advantage of the people.
Now, the quick ones that you spoke about, I'm just thinking that with the quick wins, those are wins that ordinary Nigerians from other parts of Nigeria should really be the first clienteles, as it were. What are you doing, for instance, in those areas to get the message across Nigeria to say, hey, Edo State is offering you this festival at this time, and so on and so forth? What are some of the things you're doing to make that happen?
No, we're doing a lot. First of all, we've identified the diaries of those festivals.
Right.
You know what season, what time of the year that it comes up. And we've discussed with the communities as well to let them know that government is interested in whatever they're doing, activity in terms of the festivals. And the governor has told us as well that, no matter how small the festival is or how remote the village is, once it comes to our known, we have to, get involved in it. We have to bring it to the known. We have to be part of it in terms of publicity and government involvement. So all those things are part of the things that we're looking at. And we're having a Edo Festival coming up in December as well, which is being planned.
Is it likely to be a challenge for the famous Calabar Festival, for instance?
No, I wouldn't say it's a challenge. Calabar is the best, so we can't take that away from them.
Oh, I like it. So are you suggesting it's just going to be some form of complimentary?
Exactly. We're going to get there. We'll get there eventually. I've had the opportunity and privilege to meet with the people organizing Calabar Festival. Okay. I've met with Mr. Carnival himself, the chairman of the Calabar Commission, Carnival Commission, Sir Gabe Honor, and we've discussed and talked about how Calabar Carnival started a few years ago, and which is now a world, it is well known all over the world now. So, and like I said, we can do better, than that. So it's not a challenge, just, something to engage our people, because Christmas period, people come over to Benin and Edo State. So something to engage them, to entertain them. Like you rightly know, we have a lot of these festivals, cultural heritage, tourist sites and all, so that have not been used for the past few years. The interest is not there yet. Then again, tourism is the new direction. The oil is drying up. The dependence on oil is going down. So we need to start thinking outside the box. And our governor now, whose vision is, turning things around, looking outside, thinking outside the box, and not dependent on oil or going to Abuja for, for allocations and all that. So
we're going to look into that. We're pressed for time to go on a break, but what I would like us to do is because there are issues of infrastructure, and how we're going to get the message across so that people can actually, utilize these sites that are there and appreciate them. So we're going to go on a short break, but when we get back, the Honorable Commissioner will still be here telling us about all the wonderful, bountiful things that he's going to do in Edo State. Oh, by the way, he's also going to tell us about himself, because he once lived here and he did so much. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. I still have Honorable Commissioner here in the studio with me, Commissioner Osaze Osemwegie Ero. I think I got it right this time. And joining him is Joe Ehi. He is the Edo Ambassador in the UK here. Welcome to you, Joe.
Thank you very much, President.
It's good to have you.
Familiar face.
Indeed. But before we continue, Joe, I just want to go back with Commissioner, sir, if I can just rewind you a little. Okay. Because, you're a diasporan yourself. You spent many years here as an engineer working with the London Underground and so on and so forth. What made you decide to go back to Edo State?
Oh, well, I think I thank God, first of all, for making a decision to go back about 5 years ago. It's very comfortable here in terms of security, health-wise, everything. You can plan your life and all that. Well, I think as a Benin son, You know, it's always good to look back and know where you come from and go back home. I actually saw the development that was being done by the governor of Edo State, former governor of Edo State, His Excellency, Comrade Governor Adam Saliu Shomole. You know, that prompted me to look back and say, this is time for us to go. And I was privileged to have met him and asked a few questions and all that. And after the discussion, he actually asked me to come back.
Okay.
It was his advice that he need people like me back home.
Wow, and you took it up just like that?
In 2011.
And you took it up?
Yes, I took it up, took the challenge, and I went back and he was interested.
So did he keep up his end of the bargain?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
You know, I was part of his re-election in 2012.
Oh, wow.
And it was very interesting. Like I said, I think he's a very good man. He gives the opportunity to anybody. He doesn't ask who's your father or what your dad's name and all that. So
it's just merit-based?
Yes, exactly. I think so. I hope so.
Well, that's good to know. It's encouraging to know that.
Yeah.
But having been there and now being given this opportunity, how do you, how are you consolidating the challenges and the things that you want to do? Because I don't imagine it to be easy to be able to, when we come from here, we have all these bright, great ideas and, the energy, and we're rushing. And you get there and, the frustrations that come. How are you consolidating?
I think, like I said again, I want to thank God for that. But because when I go back, like you rightly know, things are well organized here. Going back to Nigeria, you find it very difficult to keep appointments, to keep with time, with all, sort of things that come with Nigeria. But I'm a very determined person. And once I set up my mind on something that I'm going to do, I just go straight for it, regardless of the inconveniences. So I had the opportunity to work with Osemwegie as the Executive Director, Oil and Gas, Project Monitoring, for a short period.
Okay.
And he saw the quality in me. And when this time came, I worked as well, with, for the governor's campaign, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, and they saw the quality in me during the campaign. And when the opportunity came up for, this position, I was nominated by my leaders from the local governments, and he agreed. So thank God for the past few months, we've been doing our best. My eye is on the leader. We look at the leader, we see how he leads us and how focused he is, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, and we are challenged, to walk along that line. It took time before he picked his commissioners. It took about 6-7 months, but I think all the commissioners that he picked, we are all doing well. We are all trying in our various ministries, to keep to that pace.
Okay.
So the other commissioners, they are doing very well as well. It's a challenge to all of us.
Well, I hope we'll be able to, have this conversation continue this conversation as time goes on, to really see the impact.
Okay.
But let me come to the Edo ambassador in the UK here. So Joe, part of Commissioner's remit is diaspora as well. How are you working with him to make sure, because one of the things that happens is for most states and for Nigeria in general is that we seem to forget the diasporans, don't we?
Well, it's a very great development and a new dawn, like you rightly articulated. This is something that many of us have clamored for over the years. It almost seemed like a crime living outside of Nigeria.
Somewhat.
But now we have a government that has eyes for the diaspora, and recognize the fact that, indigents of the state exist, they live as well in the diaspora. So it's a great thing to know that there's going to be that liaison, between the diaspora and the government at home, which I believe this is what this is about. Just like you have consular offices around the globe for Nigeria, for instance. So Edo State is tailoring along those lines so that we can, the activities of the Edo indigenes in diaspora can resonate, with the government at home, and then, sort of create a soft landing for any prospective diaspora Edo indigene that want to come back home and do something.
Okay. I think I'm going to become an honorary indigene. Commissioner, sir, let me ask, what are some of the plans that you have for the Edo diasporans here, be it in the UK, in the US, all over Europe? because a lot of them are going to have an opportunity to watch this program. So what are some of the plans you have for them?
Yeah, first of all, we must appreciate the state governor for putting that diaspora, adding it to the ministry.
Adding it to that,
to the ministry, the portfolio. Yes, because I think because of my experience or my exposure, and because I've lived abroad, that is why he saw, it didn't fit to add that to my portfolio, and it's easier for me to travel, all over the place as well, and like you said, engineer. Joe here is the UK ambassador to Edo State, because part of the ministry's the responsibility of the diaspora is to relate with the Edo people, because the governor wants to bridge the gap.
All right.
And there should be a ministry, a face for them to relate with, and that is what the diaspora department is all about. So we put it ourselves to identify individuals that we know they can work, just like what Joe is doing in the UK, to bridge the gap between governments and people in diaspora.
Right.
So we're going to identify each individual in every country. In a country like UK, he is under
so
that.
So you're going to create some kind of database?
Exactly. That's the long-term plan. Once the website I was talking about is done, they will have a database of all the Edo indigents, in diaspora. In that database, so that it will be a quick reach. And if the governor is coming to UK, for example, if I don't come with him, Joe here can easily, do what they need to be done here.
All right.
We collate all the associations, organizations, Edo associations, organizations, and individuals, in diaspora. Then give them the opportunity to interact with what government's involvement, what government is doing back home in Edo State.
Okay.
And to encourage them, like you said, to come back home. It's not scary. It's not as bad as they think. So that when they come back home, they have a soft landing. Relate to somebody like that.
Most will say that you had it good. But most will say that they've had experiences that have not been as kind as yours. So when you say they should come back home and they'll have soft landing, define that. What is that soft landing likely to look like, for instance?
People might say that I'm lucky, but I don't think I'm lucky. I worked hard for it. And I said it again, it's determination. You need to be determined, you need to be focused on what you want to do.
Yeah.
And like I said, there were a lot of inconveniences, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of disappointments, but I just had it in the back of my mind, I know, I need to be here. And this place is my place. And thank God it's paid off. Paid off in the sense that I have been given the opportunity to serve. It's not an opportunity to make money. It's a huge privilege.
Everybody will not get to do that.
Exactly.
So for those that are coming with business ideas, those that are coming because they want to invest in Edo State, what are the things on the ground, for instance, to be able to absorb and accommodate them with ease, and for them to invest and to contribute?
Our governor, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, is a focused person. He's a businessman, a strategist, a technocrat, and now I think I can say he's a politician as well, because he has learned a lot of politics in this last 1 year, in government. So he understands that. His background, he studied in America, he spent years in the US before he came back to Nigeria as well. So he understands and he knows and appreciates the importance of a indigenous diaspora. And that is what we're doing now. He's working seriously. I know security question might come up. He's working seriously on the security aspect. He relates with the arms of, the SSS, the police, all of them. He holds security meetings with them from time to time, and he's putting a lot of measures in place to curb, security challenges that we have in Edo State. And he's working seriously. I can tell you that. So because that's one of the most challenges that people, get wary of.
Yeah.
Then the other issue is the light as well, which he's working on. Private investors, Azura plant is there, the Osemwegie plant as well, to see how we can work on electricity. And I can show you in the next few months that will be, something of the past.
Okay.
Then the other things are other challenges, all those unnecessary bureaucracy and protocols. They're no longer there.
So is there going to be some kind of a one-stop shop for business registration and working?
The ministries of employment, is working seriously on that. The last summit we just had, the Alarodaro summit in Edo State, was fantastic, was very successful, where we have all the international, national, and local businessmen in attendance. So those are things that the governor is putting in place to ensure that there's easy and soft landing for investors.
Right.
He didn't want to leave Edo indigenous out. He realized how much comes through MoneyGram and Western Union, how much is being sent back onto families in Nigeria and especially Edo State. So he's aware of that, and he's working closely to say how we can encourage our people and give them the platform to to do business, to come back home and do business and invest there.
So Joe, you're the face of Edo State now as ambassador, and everybody watching are going to come to you if they feel that something is not right. What are some of the things that you are doing in your office as ambassador to ensure that we're not just talking over here, but we're going to have, it's going to materialize, it's going to happen, we're going to see it, accountability. What are some of the things that you're doing?
Well, though it's a new office, and one of the things that we're looking, one amongst many things that we're looking to achieve first and foremost is to identify the Edo indigenes in diaspora, in correlation with the expectations and the visions of the government at home. We all come together, identify ourselves, the clubs, associations, unions, individuals, what they're doing, and then find out exactly what their ambitions are, what they want to do back home, their concerns that has prevented them from going back home in the first case over the years. Then we identify all of that, and then this office will serve as a liaison link between these people and channel such concerns, suggestions, or whatever their ideas may be to the appropriate authorities through the Honorable Commissioner who's at the helm of affairs of the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Diaspora Affairs. So far, with a short period that we've been able to work together, I can attest to the fact that this is a government in motion. This is a government that's focused. This is a government that is determined, to excel. When the previous governor was in power, we thought it was, our Messiah has come. We celebrated it, we enjoyed it while he was there, but he has left now. It will interest you to know that the current incumbent governor also served in his administration as a head of strategy for about 6 years. So most of the things that were achieved during that time, he was part of it. So with our able commissioner right here, giving a very good listening ears and very inspirational, motivational as a leader, he's here to give his ears to us. And then once we hear all these concerns from these people, channel it through him to the appropriate quarters, rest assured that it will be done there.
On behalf of my Edo people, I am going to hold you guys to account.
We are ready.
Anyway, because time will not permit us to go on. I know that the Edo Tourism Board lists, there's a huge list of different places that we don't have time. We need to discuss the culture, the arts, the tourism in depth, and the diaspora, but time doesn't permit us. But let me just quickly mention some of the areas that if you were in Edo State, you could go to and go and visit. There's the Ogba Zoological Garden, Okomo National Park in Benin Moat, is that correct? The Oba's Palace, Revelation Tourist Center, Somorika Hills, Ososo Hills, Emotan Statue. There's so many more that
Sokomba Resort Island.
I'm going to go and learn Edo. But my thing is this: all of these things exist. Infrastructure. How do we get there? It's a huge problem because Nigeria it's a big country, as we know. But even to travel from one part of Nigeria to another, it's a struggle. So what are you all doing to make sure that people can get to all of these beautiful sites with ease?
See, like I said, these sites have been in existence for many years. The focus is on these sites right now. The vision of the governor is to turn this around in terms of tourism. Our dear governor believes that through tourism we can earn a lot of living, a lot of money. There are countries all over the world who live their, live on tourism.
Yes,
countries like Kenya that is very close to us, Barbados. Egypt, Barbados, Brazil, even Dubai.
Yes.
But they don't have the natural resources that Edo State has. So since the vision is there, and the state governor realized that if we get it right, we can make a lot of money through tourism. So there's going to be a lot, towards the development of these tourist sites. We're going to work on the roads, to make sure it's accessible. And there is plan to have a tourism master plan, which we, enclose all this, so that we have tourist sites.
When would that be ready?
No, there's a plan. That's why I say part of the roadmap.
Yeah.
There's a short-term and long-term plan.
Okay.
So the long-term plan is to develop a good master plan.
So for my viewers, when can they begin to, enjoy any aspect of Edo State?
It's already started happening.
It's already started happening.
Yeah, we've done the quick win. We visited the Captain Phillips gravesite, which is not there. We have a lot of historical site from 1897, which led to the invasion of Benin Empire.
Indeed.
That has been cleared.
Okay.
So it's still in the process of beautifying, but you can go there and see for yourself. If you visit our Facebook page, you'll see most of those work that we'll be doing. So it's not like we're going to do it. So it's something that's already
we have to end, but you're in town specifically for the diasporans. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're having a meeting.
Okay, so very quickly, what is that about?
Yeah, it's a strategic stakeholders meeting. A meeting with some of them today to tell them. It's an interactive session.
Okay.
To talk about the government, what we're doing, and what we have for them, and now, to bridge bridging the gap.
Okay.
So I'll be through them this evening. Is a continuous thing. Discuss with them and take it up from there.
Fantastic.
And just to quickly add to that, this is part of the recognition that the government has for the diaspora. That's why the journey has been made. So the stakeholders meeting is taking place today that comprises professional scholars, people from the academia, and those indigenous that are right here, the elders of the Edo community.
Women and the youth. They're part of it?
Obviously, everybody is invited. Although this is a little stakeholders gathering, like representatives of these various bodies to come here, meet with him, declare the vision for the diaspora on behalf of the government, and then we'll take it away from there.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Honourable Commissioner, thank you for being here. Joe, appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Well, you've heard, Facebook page, online, Edo is a place to visit. Thank you for tuning in. Take care. Bye-bye.